Okay, so today we're going to talk about order of operations. All right, so we're going to evaluate numerical expressions by using the order of operations, and we're going to evaluate algebraic expressions by using the order of operations. So let's start off with a question. It says, the admission prices for SeaWorld Adventure Park in Orlando, Florida are shown in the table. If 4 adults and 3 children go to the park, the expression below represents the cost of admission for the group. So it would be 4 adults times $78.95 a ticket plus 3 children at $68.95 a ticket. All right. So to find the cost of admission, the expression 4 times 78.95 plus 3 times 68.95 must be evaluated. To evaluate an expression means to find its value. So let's take a look at example 1, evaluate an expression. If we have 3 to the 4th power, we would say 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, which would equal 81. That's evaluating the expression. So the numerical expression that represents the cost of the admission contains more than one operation. The rule that lets you know which operation to perform first is called the order of operations. So step 1, evaluate expressions inside grouping symbols. Then you are to evaluate all powers. And then you are to multiply and or divide from left to right. And then lastly, add or subtract from left to right. All right. And don't forget, when one or more grouping symbols are used, you evaluate within the innermost grouping symbols first. Okay, so for example, if we have brackets and then parentheses, you would go the parentheses first and then finish the brackets. Okay? All right. All right, so at this time, pause the video and work out 1A and 1B on your notes sheet. When you're done, come back and see how you did. Okay, so number 1, we have 2 to the 4th power. That would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And when I multiply those out, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. And that would be my answer. Okay? Then 1B, 4 to the 5th power, I would have 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. And then I simply just multiply those out. And when I multiply those out, you should have gotten 1,024. Okay? All right. Example 2. Evaluate each expression. So we have this big expression. We have 3 times in brackets, 2 plus in parentheses, 12 divided by 3, and that whole quotient would be squared. Okay? So we take it step by step. So the first thing we do is look inside the brackets, the grouping, and then the innermost grouping is the parentheses. So we would end up with 12 divided by 3, which is 4. So that would leave us with 3 times the sum of 2 plus 4 squared. Then we have to do our exponents inside the grouping. So that would be 3 times the sum of 2 and 16. Okay, because 4 squared is 4 times 4, which is 16. Then we have to finish inside the grouping, and it would be 3 times 18, and 3 times 18 is 54. Okay? All right. Let's take a look at B. We have 3 plus 2 cubed divided by 4 squared times 3. So the numerator and denominator are both like groupings, okay? So you have to solve the numerator, then solve the denominator, and then if you want to divide, you can divide, or if you can leave it in fraction form, you leave it in fraction form. Just depends upon what they tell you to do. All right, so on the numerator, we have 3 plus 2 cubed, so that would be 3 plus 8, and then 3 plus 8 is 11. Now we look at the denominator, and 4 squared is 16, so we have 16 times 3, which gives us 48, so our final answer would be 11 over 48. Okay? All right, now again, this is where you would pause the video and you would answer 2A, 2B, 3B, and 3C, I believe. So go ahead and answer those 4, and when you're done, come back to the video and see how you did. All right, let's take a look. Hopefully you guys did well with that. Let's take a look how we're doing here. So we need to evaluate this. So we have 3 plus 42 times 2 minus 5. So we look at the order of operations. We have no grouping. We have no exponents. So do we have multiplication or division? We do, right here. So we have to do that first. So 3 plus 84 minus 5. Now all we have is addition and subtraction. So we can go from left to right. 3 plus 84 is going to give me 87 minus 5, which is going to leave me with 82. And that would be the answer. Okay? All right. Let's look at 2b. Do we have any grouping? No, we do not. Do we have any exponents? Yes, we do. So we go 20 minus 7 plus 8 times 8, or 8 squared is 64, minus 7 times 11. All right. Now, we're done with the exponents. Do we have any multiplication or division? We do. We have 7 times 11. So it's 20 minus 7 plus 64 minus 77. Now, we're left with all addition and subtraction, so we work from left to right. Okay? So 20 minus 7 would be 13 plus 64 minus 77. Now 13 plus 64 is going to give me 77 minus 77, and that's going to give me an answer of 0. Okay? All right, nice job. Let's go 3b. We have this long expression. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look for grouping, and we have brackets, and then we look inside the brackets, and we also have parentheses, so we have to start there. So we would say 15 minus 10 plus 1, 3 minus 2 is 1, squared plus 6. Now we look inside the grouping, and we have an exponent. So 15 minus 10 plus 1, because 1 times 1 is 1, plus 6. Now we have to finish inside the grouping. 10 plus 1 is 11. And now all we're left with is addition or subtraction. So now we simply go from left to right. 15 minus 11 is 4. 4 plus 6 is 10. Good job. All right, now let's look at 3C. Again, we have to work on the numerator and denominator. Now we could go step by step, which is what we want to do, but we can also do the numerator step by step and the denominator step by step at the same time. So on the numerator, we have grouping. So we have to solve our grouping first. So 4 plus 5 is 9. So that's 9 squared. And then on our denominator, we have grouping. So 3 times 7 minus 4, or 3. Now, we have the numerator, we have exponents. So 9 times 9 is 81. And on our denominator, 3 times 3 is 9. And then we can go ahead and simplify that. 81 divided by 9 is going to give me 9. So 9 is your answer. All right. Hopefully you guys did really well on that. Let's see. Now we're going to talk about evaluate algebraic expressions. So to evaluate the algebraic expressions, you replace the variables with their values. Then find the value of the numerical expression using the order of operations. So, example, we have to evaluate x cubed plus 5 times the difference of y and 3. And we know that x equals 2 and y equals 12. So we just plug in for the variables what it's supposed to be. So when we plug in 2 for the x, we have, and 12 for the y, we have 2 cubed plus 5 times the difference of 12 and 3. And now we just simply evaluate like we've been doing. We can take care of our exponents and our grouping. So 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, plus 5, and 12 minus 3 is 9. So then we do the multiplication before the addition, and we have 8 plus 45, and we add those together, we get 53. So the solution is 53. Okay, let's look at this as a word problem. So science on a sphere, SOS, demonstrates the effects of atmospheric storms, climate changes, and ocean temperature on the environment. The volume of a sphere is 4/3 of pi multiplied by the radius, r, to the third power. Okay, so to write an expression that represents the volume of a sphere. So we know that 4/3, that's 4 over 3, of times pi times radius cubed, okay? Or we could put it all together and put 4/3 pi r cubed. Remember, r is radius. All right, so now we want to find the volume of a 3-foot radius sphere used for SOS. So if we know what the radius is, we just plug that in for the r. So we plug 3 in. So we would have 4/3 pi. We have to evaluate our exponents. So 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. Then we would take 4/3 times 27, and that would give me 36 pi. And we would leave that as 36 pi to be an exact answer. It doesn't tell us to round or anything, so we would have to leave that as 36 pi. Okay? All right, again, this is where you would pause the video. So pause the video now. Try 4A, 4B, and 5 and see what you get, and then come back and check and see how you did. Okay? All right. All right, welcome back. Here we go. So we have a squared times the sum of 3b plus 5 divided by c. Okay? So if a is 2, b is 6, and c is 4, we plug in what we know. So we know the a is 2, so that would be 2 squared. We know the b is 6, so 3 times 6 plus 5 divided by c is 4. So we have to do what's in the parentheses. So 2 squared, 18 plus 5 divided by 4, or 2 squared times 23, I believe, divided by 4. And now the exponent, so 4 times 23 divided by 4. So we would take 4 times 23 is 92 divided by 4, and we're going to equal 23. Okay? So just step by step. Plug in what you know and go step by step, the order of operations. So let's look at 4b. So we plug in what we know to all of the variables. We know d equals 4, so that would be 5 times 4 plus 6, f is 3, so 6 times 3, minus g, or minus 12. Now let's take a look. We have to do inside the parentheses first. So 5 times 4 plus 18 minus 12. 5 times 4 plus 6. And then we would have 20 plus 6, which would equal 26. All right, nice job. And then the last example that you had was to do this word problem. It says, according to the California Department of Forestry, on average, of 539.2 fires each year are started by burning debris, while campfires are responsible for an average of 129.1 each year. So we're to write an algebraic expression that represents the number of fires on average in D years of debris burning and C years of campfires. So to write that, all I would have to do is go 539.2, I believe that was D, plus 129.1 C. And then how many fires would there be in 5 years? Well, since both of those are in years, the 5 would go in the D and the C. So it would simply just be 539.2 times 5 plus 129.1 times 5. And that would give me 2,696.0 plus 646.5. When I add them together, I get 3,342.5. We can't really have half a fire, so it would be 3,342 fires. Okay? All right. So that's evaluating expressions using order of operations. That's the lesson. If you got any questions, let me know. Otherwise, go ahead and complete your homework and submit when you're done. Thank you and have a good day.